Media ready? All right, good morning. Thanks for joining us here today. Joining me for this briefing, we have a number of individuals who've been working since early this morning. And we have a Monroe County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Fowler, from the 911 Operations Center, Director Mike Soretto. I'm joined by the County Information Chief Information Officer, Jennifer Cusey, from the Department of Environmental Services, Director Mike Garland. Our Acting OEM Director, Matt Jarrett. Our Department of Human Services Commissioner, Thalia Wright, is here. Daniel Krebs, the Chief Information Security Officer for Monroe County, is here, as well as our Airport Director, Andy Moore. Now, earlier this morning, around 3:30 in the morning, I was notified that there was a global software update by CrowdStrike that caused many computers, including thousands of computers here operating in our Monroe County system that are operating on a Windows platform, to essentially crash. So around 4 o'clock, I initiated activation of the Emergency Operations Center to help coordinate the county's response, to make sure that our county departments were coordinated, our IT department was coordinated, and we can understand what the impact of that computer, essentially the computer crash, had on our essential services that we provide to Monroe County residents. The outage impact around 3,500 county devices, and those include emergency communications and almost all county operations. Many critical infrastructure systems, such as water, sewer, traffic control, were not impacted, but many public-facing operations lacked connections to their servers and their devices. As a result, all public-facing county operations are closed to the public today, including the Monroe County Office Building, the County Clerk's Office, the Department of Motor Vehicle branches, the Department of Public Health, public-facing operations, including our Vital Records Office and health clinics, the Department of Human Services, located at 111 West Fall Road. However, anyone requesting assistance can call our emergency housing line at 585-442-1742. So the emergency housing line is operational, and we encourage those who need that assistance to please reach out. The following county functions, though, are operating today. The Monroe County Court System is open today. All jurors are expected to report. The Seneca Park Zoo is open today. The county parks are open today, the Department of Transportation, the Medical Examiner's Office, the Department of Environmental Services, our Probation Department, and Monroe Community Hospital. We have ordered all essential personnel to report to work today, and all county employees that can work from home are doing that as well. As with other private and public customers of CrowdStrike globally, the county is working on 2 fixes to fix this issue. Already underway is an automated fix. We were able to start this very early this morning, and it's an automated fix that can communicate with the 3,500 devices. But unfortunately, that is a very long process and a drawn-out process, and just utilizing that automated fix could take several days to get to all of our devices. So the other fix is a manual fix, which requires county IT personnel to attend to each one of those individual devices and perform that fix on those devices. So we're operating both scenarios right now. So we're doing that automated response in the background that's bringing some devices back online, and we'll also have our county IT staff deployed around the system here to get devices back online. Now, given the sheer volume of devices, 3,500 of them, and multiple county operation locations, this is still going to take some time. The good news is that just over the last few hours, we've gotten that number down to just under 3,000 devices. So that system is starting to work and get these devices back online. So we started with around 3,500 offline, and now we're down to just under 3,000. Now, the county IT has mobilized to begin that manual repair in a priority order. The priority focus is on the 911 Operations Center. Our priority is always with public safety and public health first. And I want to be clear that while the 911 Center computers have been affected, the 911 Center computers have been affected, the 911 Center is operational, though. It is operational, and residents should continue to call 911 for emergencies. And if you call 911 and the call is not answered immediately, please do not hang up. The calls will be answered in the order that they're made, but the 911 center is operational, and residents should continue to call 911 for emergencies. Other priorities are, of course, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the County Probation Department, both of which are operating and functioning. The computer systems obviously have been impacted, but the work that they're doing is continuing here to keep our residents safe. So we're going to continue to work throughout the day and throughout the weekend to get these devices back online. We also had the opportunity to participate in a conference call just a little while ago that was initiated by New York State Department of Homeland Security, and a representative from CrowdStrike as well that confirmed that the fixes that we're doing here at Monroe County are what we need to do to get these devices back online. So with that, I brought a number of department heads who are all working and collaborating on this issue who've been affected, and if the media has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Go ahead,
Andy.
Randy. Yep, Andy Moore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Andy.
Here.
Could you
Come on
start
up,
with
Andy.
Sure.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, I was looking at the website. Looked like several flights of the ones we heard about. You know, American, United, Delta. Were those the main airlines affected by the outages?
Yeah, we have 8 airlines at Rochester. 4 airlines have been impacted with either cancellations or delays.
And how are things just overall? I mean, people get, I know, kind of frantic and antsy when that kind of thing happens. Did you have to do any work to kind of calm passengers, that kind of thing?
No, not really. I mean, the airlines have pretty good communication technology these days. I've been in touch with all the airlines. I've spoken a couple times with air traffic control, which there's no issues with them. And so it really just kind of goes into a pattern where you just got to work with your airline if your flight is delayed and canceled, and try to figure out what was going to be best for you and your travel that particular day.
Yeah, just if you were to compare, and you know, we've all been through weather delays. It seems to me that it probably wasn't even as extensive as some of the big weather delays.
Yeah, I mean, usually with weather delays, you start seeing a peripheral effect around the country. And certainly with this, you're starting to see a little bit of that, particularly with some of the hubs in Chicago, in Atlanta, and Charlotte, with Delta, American, and United. We have 33% of our flights have been delayed or canceled so far as of 10 o'clock this morning. But we still continue to be in communication and always encourage any passenger or traveler to keep working with their airline, be in touch with your airline to see what impact this will have to you. The county operation of the airport is perfectly fine and was not impacted. Air traffic control was not impacted. This is strictly with the airlines at this point.
Thanks, Andy.
Yep.
County Executive, what else could you tell us about this call that you had with CrowdStrike and they advised you on how to fix it?
Yeah, they gave us they walked through for municipalities around the state essentially what those fixes would look like and how you can access those fixes on your devices. It's essentially what they put out, though, in writing, so they were just answering questions as well that people might have had if they had issues putting those patches on the computers.
A number of these services have, you said it might take several days
Sure.
to fix. Some of these have backup systems. You talked about the 911 call center. What other of these systems have backup systems? Are these just going to be shut down until everything is fixed? What does that look like?
Yeah, no. So we're, obviously we'd be hopeful that all the systems that are public facing, so our Department of Human Services, those operations will be back up and running. My expectation would be by Monday morning for business as usual after we get through today, and obviously the weekend starts tomorrow. But we have backup systems in place. And backup procedures in place for particularly a lot of our critical public safety operations. So in the probation department, right, the computer system might be down, but the probation officers are still out there working. There's more paper involved, right, where data entry is going to have to be done after the fact, but they're still out there working.
I did want to ask about data information. For what you know, is stuff that's in the system safe? Is it compromised anyway? Are you anticipating that you'll have to do any recovery in terms of data information?
Yeah, I have no information to suggest that any data is compromised.
Yeah.
But one of the warnings that we were given this morning by CrowdStrike on that call was that as bad actors sometimes do take advantage of vulnerabilities, just to be extra vigilant for phishing, phishing attacks and things like that on your systems. I don't know if our IT wants to say anything in addition to that, but
you kind of covered it.
yeah. So they just asked governments and those who are affected by this just to be extra vigilant.
Do you have CrowdStrike IT experts or anybody like that working with your team to help resolve this?
I don't know if they're directly working with us.
Not directly.
Yeah.
Not directly, but it's a pretty basic fix. It's not an extensive fix, really. It's just, it takes a lot of effort to touch all the devices.
In terms of the 911 centers, what is your backup system for that? I know you say people call and kind of wait for the next caller. What if there's a really high number of calls? Is there a backup system in place for that?
Do you want to talk a little bit how it works?
Yeah. So that system was not affected at all. The phone system has not been affected at all. The standard procedures that we have at the 911 center, that's the same at most places. Actually, it's a little more advanced here than it is around the country. It handles the call volume. Should you hang up because of the call volume, the system will automatically call you back. So that system is still in place and it's not affected.
Any other questions?
So will you
Great,
be
thank you.
spending the day in the emergency call center? Is that where the most help is needed right now, the most priority you said?
Well, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
For you today,
Yep.
is there any area you're going to be focusing on making your rounds, or is it just the call center that you're in?
Yeah, I'll be spending I'm spending my time right now in the Emergency Operations Center just to make sure that we're coordinated and provide whatever assistance I can to all the team that's back here. Because at the end of the day, what was very important this morning and what Monroe County dealt with, which I think customers of CrowdStrike all over the world were dealing with, was trying to get to the extent of what the problem was within their operation, right? Because not every device was also affected by it as well, right? Depending if your device was connected to the network and turned on, or was it off, and where was it? So not every device was connected. So one of the more challenging aspects of starting our day today, like everybody else around the world, was actually trying to figure out exactly what was impacted and what wasn't, and what was the extent of the impact. And so that's where we spent several hours in the early morning hours, is going department by department, trying to figure out what was the extent of it, and then also prioritizing where you put those resources to put things back online, right? And to be able to apply that fix. And luckily we were able to start with that automated process, but again, it's very slow. And so that's going to keep operating in the background. But then we can deploy our team in a priority way to make sure that the departments, particularly around safety and health and those things, are get up first. But our challenge, which is particular here, I think, to the county, is that we're a very large organization, right? We've been able to identify about 3,500 devices. That's a lot of devices that were impacted by this. And so that manual reset on those devices, putting the fix on it, plus that slow automated process, it's going to just take some time.
So what were these devices using from CrowdStrike that then caused the whole computer to crash?
Dan, do you want to answer that? Okay, Daniel.
Good question. So you might regret asking, because I love to talk about cybersecurity.
I never regret asking.
You're going to learn a lot today.
Fantastic. So the majority of the devices are going to be user endpoints. And CrowdStrike is a next-gen antivirus. It replaced the old traditional file scanning antiviruses with newer behavior analytics based on user, PC, network traffic, things of that nature. And to do that, it deploys a lightweight agent. And this agent, to keep up with threat actors, releases patches almost continuously. And what happened along this morning's incident was that one of those patches made it past their gatekeeping system and had some negative impacts all over the globe. We identified it quickly, we triaged it quickly. The only remaining assets that still need touching are going to be those workstations, and as the county executive pointed out, it's twofold. Some is a manual process where we'll have to put hands on keyboards to resolve it, and some of it's automated. It just happens that the automated process wasn't as efficient. So that's kind of where we're at. Any more questions about cybersecurity?
So these are mainly, again, workstations, so they're like a PC or type devices?
Yes.
We're not talking about mobile devices necessarily?
No. It's specific to the Windows operating system. And so between the combination of the patch and these particular version of Windows operating system that the county employs, we had a problem. And we're sharing that pain with the rest of the globe at this point.
I guess from a cybersecurity standpoint, how can you kind of make sure that something like this doesn't happen again?
That's a great point. Now, one of the reasons that the impact was so widespread was because CrowdStrike is a top-tier product. So it's in Gartner's Magic Quadrant. It's widely deployed because it's the best. We placed a lot of faith in that product line. We've never had any problems with that product line before. It's been far superior to everything that we've used thus far. Unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the vendor on this one. So it was almost completely caught us by surprise. We isolated it quickly, identified the problem, again, started triaging it, and now we're down to the remaining 3,000 devices and should have those resolved either through the automated process or through a manual process.
Have you been in contact at all, and I don't know if this is more for Bello, but with your counterparts across the state in some of the other counties?
Yes. So from the IT perspective, there's a number of user groups and focus groups that county IT directors share. And we call it back channel. A lot of back channel communications almost immediately as the situation happens. So as soon as the situation evolves, that information is shared widely. We use that to help support a whole of state cybersecurity approach, which Monroe County is involved in. So by notifying all the other counties, and especially some of the local counties surrounding us, we were able to identify the problem and provide some best practices on remediating it relatively quickly. So we have been in touch with other counties, other municipalities, and the state, as Adam had mentioned.
Thalia, how are you? I assume, because since they didn't mention anything, I assume everything is good with social services, but are any folks who are getting assistance of any kind facing any delays, changes today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're asking, of course, for any emergency services. So our child protective services, they're going to court today because the court systems are open. They're face-to-face with families, so we're still receiving any state central registry reports. So that is working really smoothly, thank goodness. For our St. Paul and Westfall offices, we're asking the community to be patient with us as our systems are down. So the appointments that we had scheduled, our staff are diligently right now in the building working to reschedule those appointments. If any community members present in any of the buildings, we will also have staff there to redirect and give them some direction on next steps so we can follow up on those appointments. If any of the community are coming to our buildings to drop off documentation, we have a drop box readily available, and we will provide receipts and follow up as soon as possible. We're also asking that the community, as the county exec said, so if there's any concerns or needs around emergency housing, same that we will utilize after hours on the weekends, we're asking community to call our number at 442-1742, and we will assist with those emergency housing placements as well.
But benefits are going out electronically as usual?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is the Monroe County legislator made aware, or does this affect them in any way? Should legislators know anything?
They were made aware.
Yep, they're aware, yep. And one other point I forgot to mention earlier was that one of the other challenges, too, that makes it hard to predict exactly when each piece comes back online is we're fixing our computers and putting them back online, the 3,500 devices. Some of those, some departments, some devices, right, are using software that might exist, right, and are talking to programs that exist on other networks, right? And so if you're doing that, but that software and that network is down, we can get our computers back online, but we might not be able to use that software, right? So that's why, you know, in this interconnected world that we all live in, we might be able to get our devices back up, but we're also relying on other entities around the country, right, to get theirs up as well. So it's going to be a complicated day and a long day for a lot of people around the world, around the country, here at home. So obviously we're asking the public to be patient with us as we work to resolve this, but just wanted folks to be assured that this team here behind us is working on this issue to ensure particularly the health and safety of the community is at the forefront of this, and that we're working to address this issue, and hopefully we're back up in just the next couple of days. Okay, business as usual. So, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.